the compassionate, the merciful. Now we want to, in fact, review what we mean by a parameter. Well, if actually you remember the example in Japanese, it was like this, that the prepositions appeared to the end of a prepositional phrase, and the verbs appeared to the end of a verb phrase. This is the position of this is the grammar of Japanese. From this, we concluded there are two types of languages. Well, I am actually continuing this material from page 43. Okay, just go to page 43, as actually this picture shows. There are thus two possibilities for the structure of verb phrases. There are two possibilities for the structure of phrases in human languages: head left or head right. Head left or head right. We are going to talk about all languages like English and Japanese here, and Arabic and Farsi and many other languages. There are two types of languages: those languages that have their heads to the beginning, and those languages that they have their heads to the end. So 48 says something like this: any phrase, an X phrase, can have two different structures, the one to the left and the one to the right. The one to the left says that first we had phrase head, and after that the complement. The one to the right says first we have the complement, after that we have the phrase head. So it is like this. Look at my fingers. Either it is like this, or it is like this. Or better to say like this. Okay? And like this. Okay? So there are two types of languages: like this or like this. Well, let us review the examples in English. Example 49 on page 43 says, liked him. It is the verb phrase. Where is the head of this verb phrase? The head is the verb of the verb phrase, is the head. The verb of the verb phrase is the head of the phrase. The preposition of the prepositional phrase is the head of that phrase. If we have a noun phrase, the noun is the head of that noun phrase. Let us look at look at 49. Liked him. First we have the verb, which is the head of the noun, the phrase, and after that we have the object, him. In 50, we have a preposition phrase. To the bank. John went to the bank. Bank al-Rafidain. Okay, Bank al-Rafidain. Okay, national bank. A bank, a financial institution. Well, to the bank appears. The bank to appears at the beginning, to the left of the phrase to the bank. Okay? Now, let us go to Japanese. Japanese is the opposite. 51. Nihonin desu. Nihon means Japan. Okay? Nihonin in Japanese means Japan. Japanese. Okay? And desu means am. So when a Japanese wants to say, I am Japanese, he could say Nihonin desu. What is it like? What is it like? It is Japanese okay? Japanese okay? It is أنا من يابان okay? So أنا ليس من يابان okay? It's like this, or the negative is like that. Well, the point is that am as the verb, actually Arabic does not have the verb to be. The verb to be, and like many other verbs, appear at the end of the verb, end of the verb phrase. Okay? Up, contrary to the example like the one that we have in English. In English, we said liked him, like appears first. Here, desu, which is the verb, appears at the end. Now, nihon ni in 52, it means in Japanese, in Japan, where the preposition appears at the end. Okay. So we say there are two types of languages. Just go to page 44 at the end of the word, page 44. We have a box which actually summarizes everything. But before that, line 1 on top of page 41 is important. 44 is again important. Line 1 says, human beings know that phrases can be either head first or head last. Head first or head last. Okay? What does it mean? Some languages are head first, some other languages are head last. English is a head first language, and Japanese is an example of head last languages. So we want to talk about these relations in my next presentation next week. How does the child develop these types of things? When a child develops a language, okay, he develops the way his mother tongue is, whether it is head first or head last. Okay, next week we are going to talk about language acquisition, which is on page 45, and forget about the complexities in the Chomskyan grammar. We want to work with first language acquisition, and from that time on, from the next week, we want to go first to language 1, first language acquisition, and after that we go to the second language acquisition. Almost we are done with the Chomskyan linguistics. We are going to, in fact, apply this kind of Chomskyan linguistics first on language acquisition and then second language acquisition. Thank you very much for your active participation in the classes.